So you're sad and lonely in Germany? Or you're thinking of going to Germany and you already heard that Germans are cold and distant? You're not alone with those fears. A lot of my international friends have reported the same thing. Germans, polite. They will talk to you, they might even do small talk, but then they never get invited anywhere. Like, they had a good conversation and it's just over. And that's quite sad. So why is that? There's different theories. My personal theory is that we love our clubs too much. We only meet in very structured, very organized meeting organizations. I don't know if you're a history nerd like me, but 1848, Germans lost the German Revolution, went to the US, made clubs big there, Turnvereine. It helped unionization of the US. And that's the only way they engage with you, in a club setting. Otherwise, they're not available for you. So what can you do? Do you have to join one of those German clubs? I have this one friend who had this strategy. They just went on Reddit, they looked for internationals with similar interests, and they found a cool international Dungeons and Dragons group. And he played with those magical artifacts, and he defeated those gnolls, and so on, all spring long. But then summer came, and all of his friends, they were internationals. They were Erasmus students, they were from other continents. The Erasmus students went home forever, and the other friends, they at least spent all of their summer at home, and then they decided to spend autumn at home. And my friend was all alone. His community was broken apart. I was his only friend left, but that's not a community. And so he packed his things. He gave me the last thing he still had in Germany, which was this very lovely chair. He signed it for me. And then he also left the country, because it was a failed experiment for him. He didn't make enough friends. That's kind of sad, and I thought about it more. And I cherished the chair. And so I thought, like, what can you do to actually meet some Germans? And also then maybe potentially better your German skills, because it's so much better if you have German friends. Okay, where do you meet them? Well, it's pretty easy if you already have like a regular setting with Germans. Like if you go to a class or university, or you work with Germans, well, there they are. That's where they live. So you can just ask them to maybe hang out directly after class or directly after work, join you for some tea or some coffee. We Germans apparently actually do that. That's what I heard reported by my friends. And so that's where you catch them. But what if you don't have that thing? Maybe you're currently learning German in a class where other people also don't speak German and are not Germans. And it's all internationals again, which is risky, of what we heard from Augusta. So then I have this new tip for you, which is actually Küfas, Küche für alle, kitchen for everyone. Usually those Küfas are organized in DIY spaces, do-it-yourself spaces. Those are often a little bit anarchical, but they are not made by political parties, or they're not made by the church. They're just, your neighborhood weirdos organizing themselves without any hierarchies usually, and just making food together like once a week in a Küfa. They have the DIY spirit, and they are at centers or at places that already are DIY, do it yourself. So the same place that has a Küfa might then also host like a bike repair workshop on another day of a week, or they might have a wood workshop or whatever. So if you feel like you have a lot of evenings and you don't know what to do, you can go on Reddit, you can go on Telegram, you can go wherever, and you can just check for Küfa with an umlaut. And there's usually one or maybe even two different options in your city on every single weekday. And then they meet weekly, so you can go there again and again. You can go there, grab some nice food. They often have DIY concerts, so like garage bands and punk bands. But unlike those other bands that you follow, they're not going to visit your city once and then be gone forever. They're going to be there. They're happy to have some local fans. They're going to play again and again and again. Okay. And all of that is only as a consumer, because I think Küfas are really nice for internationals if you then also join in. You can like check out some Küfas, and if you like the vibe there, you can ask them if next week you maybe help them out a little bit. You make the food with them, you chop some onions with them, you maybe have your own recipe you want to try, and then you just spend the afternoon with these people, chopping onions, listening to music together, preparing a meal for like everyone who wants in, Küche für alle, and then you eat it. And worst case, you had an okay afternoon chopping onions and a nice warm meal afterwards. But best case, the same. But you actually talked to those people and you had a fun time and they really appreciate it that someone is helping them, because that's my experience. Whenever you go there and do anything, everyone really loves it. Then you can listen to some punk music afterwards. And maybe next week you're gonna go to the same place, but not for the Küfa, but for the carpentry workshop, and you make a next chair. Because if there's two things you should have learned from this video, number one, Küfa are great for internationals. They really appreciate you. Number two, Germans love chairs. Chairs. Goodbye.